Welcome to our Advent Happier Hour, as we're calling it. We thought we'd come to you in the middle of the week and just be a bright spot in the middle of the Christmas season. We are here to share some songs with you tonight and have a little bit of fun as well. We've got a few things up our sleeves. So no doubt you guys are like me, and we're all kind of waiting on something or someone for this Christmas season. It's a little bit different right now, being in a pandemic year and having to be stuck at home, and a lot of us haven't left our homes a whole lot. And so it's probably seemed a little bit different. Sometimes that gets you to wondering, like maybe God's forgotten you or abandoned you. So if that's where you're at today, we just want you to take hope. We want you to take hope in the manger and in the Savior who came to that lowly stable years and years ago, and just remind you that He loves you. And no matter where you're at in this pandemic and in the midst of all the crazy chaos that's going on in all the world around us, God is still working, and He still has your good and His glory in mind for all of us, and His plan will stand. So even if your circumstances seem to say otherwise right now, we just want you to be reminded that we do have hope. So we're going to start with "O Come All Ye Faithful." Joyful
I love that song, Joy to the World, because we all need joy this Christmas season. And in light of everything that's going on in 2020 and all that this year represents, not only do we need joy, but we need hope. And so that's why this carol sing was put into motion. I don't know about you, but more than anything, singing traditional Christmas songs and familiar Christmas carols is what gets me in the Christmas spirit. And I think all of us know that and feel that as well. And so it's been prayed for by this team that put this together, that you'll be able to experience that same joy. You'll be able to experience that same hope right now, this Christmas season. And in these brief moments that I have to share with you right now, I want to share with you a time-sensitive truth about hope. And we all, like I said, need hope in our lives. And the truth is that if we're in need of hope, and we're people here at Grace Point that already know Jesus, then how much more may somebody else who doesn't know Jesus, who doesn't know his awe-inspiring love, need that same hope this Christmas season? And how could we help be a part of bringing that hope to those that so desperately need it? You know, I stumbled across a short story called A Boy's Hope, and I want to share it with you right now. There was a teacher several years ago, a hospital teacher, that routinely went and visited children that were in the hospital and taught them. And she got a routine call from one of the teachers of a boy in the hospital. And this teacher said, "Can you please study nouns and adverbs with this child so that they don't fall behind the other students in their class?" And so she got the boy's room number and she got the boy's name. And then she headed to the hospital. But it wasn't until she got to the hospital that she realized that this boy's room was in the hospital's burn unit. Nobody had prepared her that this boy would be horribly burned or in great pain. And she didn't feel like she could leave, and so she awkwardly stammered, "I'm the hospital teacher, and your teacher has sent me to work on nouns and adverbs with you." One of the nurses the next day came up to this teacher, this woman, and said, "What did you do to this boy?" And before she could finish her profusion of apologies, she interrupted her. The nurse interrupted her and said, "No, you don't understand. This boy had given up hope, and we were so worried about him. But ever since you came yesterday, he's fighting back. He's taking treatments, and it's almost as if he's decided to live." And later, the boy spoke and shared about how he had given up hope until that teacher came in that day. And he said he came to a simple realization, and with joy-filled tears in his eyes, he said, they wouldn't send a teacher to help a child with nouns and adverbs if they were dying, would they? And I don't know about you, but this story shares about how we can bring hope to those in this world that so desperately need hope. And if you've ever read the Bible, and if you've ever read the Christmas story, which is found in the beginning chapters of Matthew and Luke, then you're probably also familiar with the story, the hope-filled story of the wise men. And many times growing up, I thought that this story about the wise men and them being brought by the star to Mary and Joseph and Jesus, that the star was put there to bring hope to the wise men as they found the newborn king. And the more that I've looked into this story, and the more that I've made observations from the background, the more that I've seen that maybe, just maybe, the star was actually put there to bring hope to Mary and Joseph and Jesus. And in a time sensitive and God's perfect timing. And it brought them renewed hope. You see, right after the wise men left, right after they returned home, Joseph got a dream from an angel. And the dream said, you, Joseph, need to flee. With Mary, take Jesus, and you need to flee to Egypt because King Herod is coming after Jesus to kill him. And I've got to wonder if the gifts that the wise men brought to Jesus and to his parents actually brought more hope to them than they could have ever imagined. Gold, because they needed food and water and shelter, lodging, as they made it all the way through this massive journey to Egypt, and probably even to help them get settled in once they got to Egypt. Frankincense, to, keep them smelling good all the way on the journey. The little things. And I'm sure that Mary probably appreciated this. And then myrrh, medicine, right? Medicine that could be used for illnesses that they encountered along the way, or colds, or anything else that came up that would have helped them stay healthy and get all the way to Egypt. Think about this. If the wise men had not come to Mary and Joseph and brought these gifts, would Mary and Joseph and Jesus had the hope and the help that they needed to make it all the way to Egypt? Maybe, but maybe not. Here's the deal. We all know people this Christmas season that need hope. And we don't need to know the outcome of that hope, but we have to believe that if we're faithful to God to bring that hope to others, that He's going to multiply it and do immeasurably more than we could ever ask or imagine. So whether it's a young boy in a hospital or a young family that's frantically getting ready to go on a long trip, or someone else, you just never know by what you're doing how it could bring life-changing hope to someone else. So as we sing this next song, Do You Hear? The song is entitled, Do You Hear? Don't just pray that God would bring us goodness and light this Christmas season, but that God would use us to bring His goodness and light to others who so desperately need it this Christmas season. Let's sing this next song together.
Said the night wind to the little lamb, do you see what I see?
Do you see what I see?
Way up in the sky, little a tail as big as the kite. Said the little lamb to the shepherd boy, do you hear what I hear?
Do you hear what I hear?
Ringing through the sky, shepherd boy. Do you hear what I hear?
Do you hear what I hear?
A song, high above the trees, with a voice as big as the sea. With a voice as big as the sea. Said the shepherd boy to the mighty king, do you know what I know?
Know what I know?
In your palace warm, mighty king, do you know what I know?
Know what I know?
A child shivers in the cold. Let us bring him silver and gold. Let us bring him silver and gold. The first Noel, the angels did say, was to certain poor shepherds in fields as they lay, in fields where they lay keeping their sheep on a cold winter's night that was so deep. Noel, 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 born is the King of Israel. They looked up and saw a star shining in the east beyond them afar, and to the earth it gave great light, and so it continued both day and night. Noel, 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 born is the King of Israel. Noel, 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 born is the King of Israel. Go tell it on the mountain, over the hills and everywhere. Go tell it on the mountain, that Jesus Christ is born. While shepherds tender watching, or silent flocks by night, behold, throughout the heavens there shone a holy light. Go tell it on the mountain, over the hills and everywhere. Go tell it on the mountain, that Jesus Christ is born. The shepherds feared and trembled when up of the earth rang out the angels' chorus that hailed the Savior's birth. Go tell it on the mountain, over the hills and everywhere. Go tell it on the mountain, that Jesus Christ is born. Down in the lowly manger, the humble Christ was born, and God sent us salvation that blessed
do the 12 Days of Christmas next, and I did a little research this week, and I found that the gifts, if you add them all up in the song, and you come up with a price tag, it's approximately $117,984.10. This number, of course, increases from year to year when you consider the rising costs of minimum wage for the milkmaids, union rates for the drummers and the pipers, and quotes from the reputable aviaries, jewelers, and nurseries. But, having said all that, we are going to do our own version of the 12 Days of Christmas for you.
On the first day of Christmas 2020 gave to me Grace Point on my screen. On the second day of Christmas 2020 gave to me Parking Lot Cafe and Grace Point on my screen. On the third day of Christmas 2020 gave to me communion on my chair,
Parking Lot Cafe
and Grace Point on my screen.
On the fourth day of Christmas 2020 gave to me no bulletin,
Communion on my chair,
Parking Lot Cafe
and Grace Point on my screen. On the fifth day of Christmas 2020 gave to me Pastor Stephen quarantine.
no bulletin,
Communion on my chair,
Parking Lot Cafe
and Grace Point on my screen. On the sixth day of Christmas 2020 gave to me 6 feet and masking Pastor Stephen quarantine.
no bulletin,
Communion on my chair,
Parking Lot Cafe
and Grace Point on my screen.
On the seventh day of Christmas 2020 gave to me no more donuts,
6 feet and masking Pastor Stephen quarantine.
no bulletin,
Communion on my chair,
Parking Lot Cafe
and Grace Point on my screen. On the eighth day of Christmas 2020 gave to me Bible study zooming,
more donuts,
6 feet and masking Pastor Stephen quarantine.
no bulletin,
Communion on my chair,
Parking Lot Cafe
and Grace Point on my screen.
On the ninth day of Christmas 2020 gave to me Holy Ushers counting,
Bible study zooming,
no more donuts,
6 feet and masking Pastor Stephen quarantine.
no bulletin,
Communion on my chair,
Parking Lot Cafe
and Grace Point on my screen. On the 10th day of Christmas 2020 gave to me sanctuary modeling,
all the ushers counting,
Bible study zooming,
no more donuts,
6 feet and masking Pastor Stephen quarantine.
no bulletin,
Communion on my chair,
Parking Lot Cafe
and Grace Point on my screen.
On the 11th day of Christmas 2020 gave to me YouTube buffering,
Sanctuary modeling,
all the ushers counting,
Bible study zooming,
no more donuts,
6 feet and masking Pastor Stephen
ushers counting.
Bible study zooming.
No more donuts.
6 feet and masking. Pastors giving warranty. No will attend communion on my chair. Parking lot cafe. And this point on my screen. Balls with boughs of holly. Fa la 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 la. 'Tis the season to be jolly. Fa la 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 la. Don we now our gay apparel. Fa la 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 la. Troll the ancient Yuletide carol. Fa la 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 la. See the blazing Yule before us. La 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 la. Strike the harp and join the chorus. La 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 la. Follow me in merry measure. Fa la 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 la. While I tell the Yuletide treasure. Fa la 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 la. Fast away the old year passes. La 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 la. Hail the new ye lads and lasses. La 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 la. Sing we joyous all together. La 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 la. Heedless of the wind and weather. Fa la 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 la. So we're going to do Jingle Bells next, which is a beloved Christmas carol for many. I did find, however, in this obscure book about carols, a fun fact about Jingle Bells. So I'm going to read from this book here. Jingle Bells claims a record in, in 1965 when it became the first song to be broadcast from space. U.S. astronauts sent a message back to the base about a mysterious object they saw flying through the night sky ahead of them. This is in quotes. "We have an object. It looks like a satellite going from north to south, probably in polar orbit. It looks like he might be going to re-enter soon. I see a command module and 8 smaller modules in front. The pilot of the command module is wearing a red suit." They then pulled out a smuggled aboard harmonica and played for mission control nothing other than Jingle Bells. Dashing through the snow in a four-horse open sleigh, o'er the fields we go, laughing all the way. Bells on bobtails ring, making spirits bright. What fun it is to ride and sing a sleighing song tonight. Oh, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh.
Thank you so much for coming to today's Carol Sing. We're just so thankful and grateful that you're here with us today. And we just want to let you know that we will have regular service this Sunday, the 20th, and then we're also going to have a special virtual Christmas Eve service this year, which will go on at 3:30 next week on the 24th. And so just feel free to tune in for that. And we look forward to seeing you this Christmas season.
Thank you.